got a couple of teams looking like they're making their way down towards Puerto Paradiso. It's going to be Arrow Wolf. Meanwhile, it's going to be Crystal Luster. That one's going to throw me every single time I say it up there, making their way up towards El Alzahar. So now it looks like the cluster towards the middle is kind of what we're keeping an eye on, as I'm willing to bet that it looks like it's going to be Team Liquid making their way over towards Picado. Nothing too terribly crazy. Sometimes these first couple of games, people can vie for drop locations, but on Miramar, tons of space. Not too much to worry about here.
Yeah, Miramar does have a lot more space to offer you, a lot more loot in general across the map, so you can loot those god buildings and other warehouses and other things as you go. Looks like MP5 here is not going to challenge Team Liquid.
Monte Nuevo looks like we have Cloud9, as well as it looks like Crusaders that are going to be dropping right next to each other. We're going to have to see if anybody extends out from there. MP5 also kind of surrounded around Team Liquid, as we've got a circle that's going to cut up way towards the northeast, all the way around Campo Militar. So here we go. We got Cloud9 making landfall right next to the Brazilian Crusaders. Nerf, you can see, already on the hunt for a gun as firefight is starting to break out around him.
Yeah, Nerf took a little bit of damage there, possibly on the parachute in. Rusty Zera has as well. Rogi looking to find somebody with his M16, but he gets taken down by Profi.
Nice shots coming out from there. Profi just follows through, and Brazilian Crusaders are in a world of trouble now. 2 members up. They're already on the back foot, and that is not the way you want to start the tournament. 2
big kills here to start the match for C9 and Profi. Well done there with the Scar. Looking for some more action is C9 here. Now, the Crusaders, they're backing off a little bit, and now C9 kind of has them surrounded there. C9 has the complete western edge of Monte Nuevo now, but a member of MP5 heard some shots and might be going to check this out. Fong?
Looking to third party inside of this, that's absolutely insane. This early inside of a rotation, you can see now a little bit of circle coming into play as AW is starting to make their way up towards the north, just playing right along the coastline, getting that scenic view along the way. Nothing too terribly crazy happening over here.
Yeah, I don't imagine the OP Gaming Rangers really care too much about this. They're not a team that likes to fight early on. They look to get into the circle safely, find central locations, and not really have to fight anybody. They don't want to get third party. They're not really usually interested in third partying, and they're looking to have all 4 members up in the top 5, top 4 positions.
I think it's going to come down to how fast a whole bunch of these teams are going to rotate. We do see that there's a couple already, well, I would say one right now that is just optimizing position first. They're like, okay, with a circle like this, we just want to cut all the way up there, get to somewhere that's very comfortable. A lot of these teams, especially with Cloud9, Brazilian Crusaders getting a little bit of a skirmish over there, they're going to have to keep an eye out for what's going on, and this is really going to slow down their rotations. Fong now looks like he has been spotted out by Rasputin.
Yeah, this is a little interesting here by Fong. I'm not sure if he heard the shots or not coming from Monte Nuevo, because this is forcing the Crusaders out of Monte Nuevo. C9 did a great job there to kick things off. Now Fong, takes a little damage there from the Crusaders. He's got to get out of here. He does have a bus, but that's a slow vehicle. It doesn't have a lot of torque.
Of all the ways to have to escape from a firefight when you're 2 men down at the start of the game, the bus is not the way to go for it. But it looks like he does have a nice little path that he can take to get out of there. But the way they're going to have to retreat is totally away from where the circle's at, and that's going to make for a really crazy rotation for them.
Yeah, that southwestern edge of the circle is just stacked with teams. You've got Team Liquid and Picado. You got a Freaka Freaks Fatal up by Power Grid. You've got Armory Gaming up there by Freaka Freaks Fatal. Okay, looks like NN took a lot of damage, and he gets knocked by DMG there.
Nice shots coming out from Armory Gaming, as it's going to be DMG getting the shots and the flush onto NN as the motorcycle passes through. The other member, it did stop off in the distance though, so looks like he's going to have to get a little bit more information, but could potentially just push on through. We'll have to keep an eye on that. I think that with the way you can see on the map, so many teams are right along the edge of the circle where they were choosing to loot at. This could make it for a lot of gatekeeping positions, so everybody's going to have to keep an eye on what's going on and how these rotations come into play, because I got to say, these guys are playing aggressive off the get-go. DMG is trying to get out of here. As you can see, Style taking a couple of pot shots. DMG's already about half life, just trying to get that motorcycle up the hillside and away. AK gets switched over for it, just trying to go for the lucky spray, but I think that DMG at least manages to get away from this fight.
Yeah, DMG manages to take one off of a Freaka Freaks Fatal there. A little interesting early movement there by Freaka Freaks Fatal. Usually it's Style that's leading the way for a Freaka Freaks Fatal in the front on a motorcycle. They like to use this 1-3 rotation where they send one member out, typically it's Style, and then the rest of the team follows there. Now they might have just been thinking, NN might have thought that it was a safe loot location and that there wasn't anyone there, but nice job by Armory Gaming to take advantage of that and get an early kill.
All right, and here comes the rotation migration coming in. Envy already on their way up towards the north. You can see OP Rangers, looks like they're making their way over towards a crate. Team Liquid on the move as well. 4AM been very quiet at the start of this, kind of sneaking over there next to 17 Gaming. That might be something fun to keep an eye out for as well. But, oh, here we go. We've got a Groza. Naturally, all the level 3s stacked up. Now, OP Rangers, I don't know if they see this.
I don't know if they do. It's hard to say. They're driving around it. Now, Temeria might be going out ahead to make sure that there's nobody else going for this and trying to say, okay, this is a clear crate. We can take this. HQ taking some damage here. Long range. It must be CL Tango.
Yep.
And Tangwa. That's how it's a Chinese name.
I'm going to lead into calling him TG. That's the way I'm going to go
TG?
with that one. I already know that I'm going to mess that one up and massacre it if I try to say it.
Can we call him Tang? Can we call him Orange Drake?
Well, they are running the actual orange logo, so yeah.
There we go.
So here we go. We've got Team Liquid on the move and actually having a little bit of a calm respite right now. Nothing too terribly much that they're having to look at. Kind of getting an idea on where everybody's rotating to at the time. Nothing too crazy. Really, I'm just kind of curious on how Brazilian Crusaders is going to play this since they took a couple of casualties off the start of it. But again, a lot of little slight skirmishes happening in different parts of the map.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't look like there's anything too substantial going on yet. It's just kind of, teams are trying to get their way in, play safe. It's the first round, right? You don't want to overextend yourself. You don't want to try anything super, super crazy here. Jeems, though, does have some eyes onto a member of SDK, and like they were talking about earlier on the analyst desk, this could be an important moment here for SDK, who needs to do well on Miramar.
All right, does he have the fancy feet just running down the hillside? Adam does manage to make it back into cover. He was up in a little bit of a scouting position, so did manage to get information on where a team's at, just not the way he wanted to do it.
Yeah, he took a little bit of damage there, lose a little bit of life, a little bit of armor, but that's okay. You're all right. MP5 here has set up, it looks like,
They've got Incognito that's right on the outside of them, and they're in no rush. MP5 just looks like they're bloodthirsty right now. They're just hunting any type of sound that's moving around them, trying to get any shots that they can. Fortunately, this time on the receiving end of it, but easy for Ents hanging out over here, looking back over the direction. They've got Crystal Luster just on the other side of that hill. It's going to be Trifley looking back down. Is he going to spot out anybody? They seem to know that they're over there. Are they going to choose to capitalize and go for a breach? Meanwhile, Team Liquid still taking those pot shots, but look, way off in the distance, you've got Envy that does have a little bit of a sight line. Going to take a couple of shots and tell Jimpty, hey, time to go back to your house.
Yeah, Jeems on the move there with the motorcycle, scouting out ahead for Team Liquid, it looks like. And yeah, Envy taking some pot shots here, getting a little bit of damage. Ents here taking some shots at the Rangers. DG98 very low on health, taking out the tires on that truck. Is Rustamar one of the top players from Ents?
It is the way to go on this map. If you can take out a tire every single time, it is just massively influential. The attrition game on Miramar is so big. You want to make sure people are burning out armor, med kits, anything you can, try to disable their vehicles. Just make it as rough as possible to rotate, so that way if they're having to walk, you can just catch them in quick, easy rotations.
Especially on Miramar, those vehicles are so important, and if you can force out some smokes and other things, which are just absolutely crucial in the late stages of Miramar, where you really need those smokes to be able to rotate across open terrain, which you're just going to be forced into. There's no getting around it. Looks like the Crusaders here are opting to make a late rotation, take a little circle damage. I think this is probably wise because they took some early, they lost 2 members early, and they need to find a safe way to get into the late game to at least try to get some placement points.
We talked about it. They were going to have to do a long rotation out away from anything. It's an early circle, so it doesn't hurt that bad. Go ahead and burn a couple of meds, but that sucks for Crusaders, as now you can see the circle shifts up towards the center, so that means that they're going to have to try to find some path to cut through there. Incognito did get separated out away from the rest of the team, so now making their way up and forward. Nothing too terribly crazy here. As you can see, Armory Gaming, Cloud9, really the only other guys need to make it inside the circle. OP Rangers might have a little bit of trouble right on the edge of it.
Yeah, it looks like all the teams are kind of moving in. 4AM is on the north side. They pretty much have the northern half of the circle all to themselves. You can see Ents here moving across the path, possibly a little bit of CL here, Crystal Luster. Ooh, Moody trying to get some shots onto K3, who's rotating, and he's taking some damage himself, though, from the other members of AHQ who are covering this well.
CR just cutting through them, but look at that. Moody does manage to spot out one, get the down and the flush onto it, but Moody's taking a lot of damage on a different angle. The rest of Envy is repositioning onto it. I like this shift over. Go ahead and take out the tires. Moody's just going to have time to get the meds up. So Envy, they have the numbers advantage. HQ got the shots and the initiation onto that, but now feeling no comfort inside of it. Going to retreat back down towards their vehicles, as it looks like Envy is just going to try to hunker down at this point, get a little bit more control. Off on the side of this, naturally we do have Crystal Luster as well, that's just kind of hearing what's going on, and 17 Gaming on both sides of this.
Yeah, Crystal Luster in a big 2-2 split here. They're very far apart from each other. So I'm curious to see how this works out for them. Now, teams like to do this so they kind of guarantee themselves a place in the circle, especially if it hard shifts. In between them was ENCE moving through, but a member of ENCE, Mikaz, is in a bit of a fight here. As you can see, the other two members of ENCE are a little bit ahead, setting up on this compound. Rustanmar with the AK there, it looks like they will safely take this one. Mikaz is trying to come up behind him.
ENCE is running a 2-2 split at the direct time, trying to keep control over the road that runs smack through the middle of this circle. They've got shoot to kill on one side of him, but there's a lot of teams that are starting to surround. We do have AG Gaming that's looking back down towards Cloud9 at the time, but really Cloud9's got themselves a nice little defilade. Well, I almost want to say ridge line that they can play in. That valley is really strong. That is a long-range grenade with a dream coming in there, but actually does connect onto K-Mine. Nice throw from Duckman's coming through off of this, so now Cloud9 playing a little bit more defensive.
Cloud9 could be in a little bit of trouble here. It already looks like they're bailing out of this position. Nerf moving down towards water treatment to get out of this, because AG could have kind of set up a potential complete surround around them there if they wanted to, but most of the members are AG are rotating now. Interesting to note, Duckman's one of the most insane fraggers in the world. Average 2.25 kills per match from the Thailand team. He is an absolute monster. He's a guy to watch for Armory Gaming. If he starts popping off, they could absolutely do some things.
Now we can see a lot of these teams now starting to be forced down the hillsides. This is the way that Miramar starts to get played. You got a couple of teams that start aiming for the high ground, trying to get as much information as possible. Watch these rotations. Really try to enforce how people have to move through the map. You know, take a couple of shots at them, say, okay, now you have to go through that ridge instead of coming on a closer path. Then you're going to have all the teams that are forced into the low ground spots. They lose a lot of information gathering, and it makes it risky for every single push that they have to do from here on out.
Exactly. It's really tough to rotate out of those low ground spots, especially because there just isn't a ton of cover to utilize. You have to make quick, efficient work of your rotations to get out of there and maybe get a little lucky too. Down in the southwest, we have OP Gaming Rangers gatekeeping the Crusaders. This is the Arrow Wolves here, who are kind of up to the east of Cruz de Valle all by themselves. Monkeys are standing pat, as well as Envy here pretty much in the center of the circle. No need to do much. CL has closed together, and look at that, the circle pretty much dead center.
Nothing too terribly crazy. We got the roads that are cutting right through the middle of it. You can see from Cudaval all the way down to Hacienda. That's going to be something we're going to have to keep an eye on, because on a lot of spots it kind of is the bottom of the valley, so a lot of teams could be forced down into that spot. Team Liquid opting for a very quick rotation here. They've got shoot to kill that's taking a couple of shots at them. They got MP5 on the other side of it. I think that they're just trying to get to the very top of the very edge of this hill. They're just going to hunker down inside of that spot, but the problem with it is just above them they've got 17 Gaming. So now MP5 very aware that shoot to kill is in the position next to him. Just a few teams really need to sneak their way inside the circle, but what's eating up a lot of space is that flat land, you know, like where there's all the hay bales just to the north of Hacienda. That is just such a no man's land of terrain that nobody can really move through.
Yeah, and MP5 is in a bit of a difficult position, most likely with the next circle, because they're going to have to find a way to either get across those hay bales or go through another team to get into the circle. You can see OP Gaming Rangers, they want none of that side of the circle, and it looks like they might be thinking about taking a very long northerly route.
Yeah, they're running a 2-2 split as well at the time. You can see ENCE 2-2 split paying off for them, but probably going to have to regroup here roughly, I don't know, maybe another minute or so. No big rush onto them. But really now it's going to be OP Rangers and choosing how they want to regroup, because one part of their team is actually pushing into a 4-man squad of Arrow Wolf right next to them. And here's our boys, our last two remaining members of Crusaders, slowly making their way inside the safe zone, but it's not going to be too safe where they're choosing to go to. They've got Incognito that's going to be taking a couple of shots at them, as well as ENCE on the low ground.
Yeah, Duckman's, look at this. He just secured a kill onto Captain with that SLR. This guy is an absolute monster. I can't wait to see what he does. Okay, Tamaria's got RDK here, and he will knock him out of the Bronco and finishes the kill.
Easy just drive up, trying to get a little bit more information. Spray comes through. Incognito still looking around, trying to hear what's going on next to them. They should be aware that ENCE is just on the low ground. So Incognito in the process of regrouping, but OP Rangers, they got a little bit of a shot off. Now they have a little bit more maneuvering space, the way they can make their way inside the safe zone. Envy, no cares in the world, taking some long-range shots about 300 meters out and away, just trying to keep control over the territory, because we still have 58 people alive in this circle. What is going on?
This is pretty much what you kind of expected early on. Teams really want to play safe, especially on Miramar, because nobody is going to need really to contest locations. We did have that early skirmish between the Crusaders and C9, but really we didn't see much else. Freak of Freaks Fatal lost a member in a transition. That is it, basically about the story of this match so far. The Arrow Wolves are down a member too, and as you can see on the map, everybody's kind of got their own little situation here, and they're relatively safe. It's going to be, it's usually phase 5 or 6 where the action really starts to pick up.
I mean, it's the first round of an international event. Everybody is playing as measured as possible. So when everybody's like, where's all the action? What's going on? Right now, everybody just wants to get a feel for what is happening. There are so much little mind games that are happening on different parts of the map. Just going, okay, we think that somebody's going to rotate through the spot, so let's keep an eye on this location. Let's get a feel for how people are moving. New circle pops, and it's making its way over towards that dead man's land I was talking about. There's a whole bunch of fields in play. How many? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 8 teams that are going to need to make their way inside the safe zone, and there is not a lot of space.
No, about a third of this circle is just dead man's land. It is just hay bales and nothingness. So this is going to be a really difficult proposition for the teams that are on the northern and the western side of this circle. All of these teams have so much real estate that they have to fight over.
We've got Incognito that's just trying to crash back down around, shoot to kill. They're just trying to hold their location. Nice shots coming out from Aload, manages to take down one. The rest of the team is just trying to push through as Incognito is just looking for some type of home. Early rotations are so big right now, so that could pay off. Sure, they've lost one member in that push over, but it was only one member. A lot of these teams that are coming in late, it's going to be trouble for them.
All right, the Crusaders are engaging here with OP Gaming Rangers. Grenades coming out. No real damage done yet to either team. Raspu has taken a little bit so far. Grenades in, but they are not quite able to get to Raspu there. FPS backing way off. Raspu is kind of trapped inside of this shack. OP Gaming Rangers, though, taking this a little cautiously. They don't want to lose someone unnecessarily here, and Raspu is trying to get out.
Well, they don't know. They don't know the numbers at this stage. Nice shot coming out from Nerf, just going ahead and polishing down the guy that was knocked over there. But AF Shadow's now taking a couple of shots back over towards, again, I'm going to throw me every single time, Crystal Luster, as they're just trying to catch a little bit of air and get over into safety. A lot of these teams are managing, they're only losing one inside of these rotations, so they're somehow managing to at least right the ship as it goes through.
Yep, there is Raspu getting chased down here by Bobo. And OP Gaming Rangers, oh my goodness, some nice shots with the Mini 14 there by Bobo.
Poor Brazilian Crusaders, they were the first two to die inside of this, and they are the first team eliminated. But here we go, we've got Ints on rotation, OP Rangers on the outside of it, and look, everybody is just clustering around this ridge right along the road. So it's going to be a lot of vision back and forth as teams are just hunting for each other.
Yeah, Samty here making the move. MP5 taking some damage from Cloud9 in rotation here, setting up behind the tractors and the hay bales, trying to find a little bit of a safe enough spot here within this kind of, we've been calling it this dead man's land, that they can at least survive long enough to make it into the next circle. C9 putting the pressure on, though, trying to land some shots. They're shooting out the tires on the Bronco there. Fong safely behind the vehicle for now. It doesn't really look like they've got the angle on him. Shadow manages to get a kill onto Tang from CL in the meantime in the background. So a Freak of Freaks Fatal doing well here.
This is very interesting. MP5 is running a 2-2 split. They push two people up towards the hay bales. You can get an idea on why we said nobody wants to go there. There were so many teams looking at those two guys from the hay bales, but they were using their vehicles to provide them a little bit more cover. The problem with it is the rest of the team doesn't have anywhere else that they can really go at this stage. OP Rangers is looking back around trying to figure out how they're going to go through, but AHQ is holding back right now. I believe it's Airwolf that's trying to cross through. Is Winner going to take the shots? No, looks like Icky's just going to make it back down into that little bit of a dip to hide from. OP Rangers, no real vision either, so this might be their opportunity to move.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to safely be able to move up to the side of that next hill, close to AHQ there. AHQ will probably hear him knocking on the door. Winner looking to take some shots onto the Airwolves. He's got the angle onto Icky. I think he could probably take this if he felt like it, but he is all alone there. He's split from the other members of AHQ.
He has to get something out of this. He's left the other two members of AHQ. They have two teams that are over there next to him. If he doesn't get something out of this, it's going to be so detrimental from his team. But the moment he takes a shot, God V is just going to take him down. New circle does pop up, and we are going right into those fields with a ton of hay bales. All the teams along the edge up to the northeast are going to have to make a push. So with this, Winner, what are you going to do? Going to throw out a smoke that's going to give away his position. Goes for the spray onto it. Nothing really connecting through it. Gets a little bit of damage, but look, 4AM hears this. They go, wait, there is somebody right next to us, and they're not going to allow anything out of it. Samiria's taking a couple of shots back down towards AHQ, and it's just reposition on reposition. How's this grenade going to come up? Is it going to connect? Winner goes down inside of that exchange. He's just going to get easily flushed. There's no real benefit coming out of that push in the position that he was at.
Yeah, 4AM taking advantage of that, knocking Winner out. A nice little kill for them here. CL in the meantime taking on some fights in the background. OP Gaming Rangers trying to push up onto the last couple members here. Bobo comes over the hill. One kill. That is two knockdowns. stacks for him. Is he going to get the third? It's just Icky left, but he has to back off.
OP Rangers, they got a little bit of damage off, but you can see HQ's now starting to come alive back down behind them. I was just trying to find anything going on, but Shoot the Kill is just trying to gatekeep out Ints right now. Shots connecting from a sideline. They are just having to make their way up this hillside, and there is nowhere for them to go. They're just trying to get to the reprieve that the top of the hill might provide.
Behind all of this, OP Gaming Rangers did manage to knock out Arrowwolf. 4 AM now fighting Armory Gaming here up on the hill. ZG coming over, doing a little bit of damage, cooking this grenade.
Oh, here we go.
Oh.
Nice grenade could pay off for them, but look at this Incognito now caught in between Envy and Ints, and that is a terrible place to be. You can see so much utility having to be used at the time. Gotta be the last member up and alive for 4 AM as they make the push over there. Shoots a kill. Still looking back around for what's happening with him. Purdy Curdy looking back down towards Alo, who did go down inside this exchange. This is just a massacre on this part of the circle as nobody has any easy path. And here we go. Pat Caps, can you hit the nade? Just gonna overhead toss it in. He's gonna get taken down as they reposition out.
Great job there by Incognito to move out and prevent Pat Caps from getting that grenade in, but they will be taken down in 12th place by Envy anyway, and it looks like you can see Ents in the background here now moving up. Looks like Squeaky, he has died outside of the circle to Purdy Curdy. Babo in a fight with Armory Gaming. DMG will get taken down, and that is Armory Gaming down in 11th place.
But they're going to have to move here. They've got the circle coming up right back behind him. Envy just trying to mop up what's going on as Ints is eliminated in 10th place. So now we've got Envy and Shoot to Kill looking back down towards each other. Very familiar with each other as they're both from North America, but Team Liquid just looks back up and drops Moody. Now Team Liquid in a strong point to gate team out two North American teams. They've got the angles as Envy is eliminated. Shoot to Kill's Adam right up in front of him, so you're going to have to keep an eye on how this plays out. You can see Purdy Curdy just trying to make his way into the safe zone. Does Team Liquid see it? A little bit of a crossfire coming to play, and good lord, Purdy Curdy just gets dropped.
James with a nice rip there. Great gatekeeping here by Team Liquid. They do have one member knocked, but Adam is outside of the circle. He is in a lot of trouble, and he will get taken down. That is Shoot to Kill down in 7th place. Team Liquid doing very well here. They have 2 knocks. They should be able to get the reses here. They have just enough time, it looks like, to get this up and get going, but now they have to rotate into the circle, and possibly it's going to be interesting to see if they can find a nook in that circle up on top of the hill.
They're just going to have to make their way north, right around where Crystal Luster is at. They're getting themselves gifted with a crate, but I don't know if it's going to pay off too much for them because 17's got to make an approach on that, and it looks like a Freak of Freaks is thinking the same thing. This could just really open up Cloud9 to have control over that, like where all those hay bales and stuff like that are, so that way they can look back down into it. Cloud9 been kind of quiet right now, just really taking long-range shots back and forth.
Yeah, they've had this compound on the western edge of the circle. They've had rain all over the entire hay bale area here, so they've just been able to stand pat, and MP5 will get wiped out there as well. C9 looking to put some shots onto a Freak of Freaks Fatal. CL here, they've got 2 members left in a fight with their sister team from China, the 17 Gaming, so we'll see how that goes. Ooh, another care package with an AUG comes down, Matcham.
Gonna be interesting to see who picks that up, if they opt into going for it, because at this stage it kind of feels like a trap. If you make your way over there, you're just going to take a ton of damage. 17, though, starting to make their way slowly and steadily over towards Crystal Luster. Freak of Freaks just ran a massive split across the north. Just kind of get a little bit more sight lines on what's happening. You can see Cloud9 kind of grouping over here, but really Team Liquid has control over the entirety of that hill at the time. It's all about how 17 opts into moving, but it looks like they're thinking about going towards Crystal Luster.
Yeah, actually Team Liquid, it may not look like it, but they actually control a ton of this circle right now. Them and C9 basically control the hay bales. A Freak of Freaks Fatal trying to make sure that no one can come around them from the north or the east. That's why Styles out there. You can see him on the eastern side there. They don't want anybody to do that. Lambo takes a few shots, though, from Team Liquid. Going to have to hide and heal up. 17 moving up here. It looks like they might get into an engagement. We'll see if they push up any further, but they might be content with where they are on the back of that hill right now.
Cloud9 and Team Liquid just looking back and forth at each other like, we know everything's happening over towards that other part of the circle, but we can't see what's going on over there, so just taking a couple of shots here and there, seeing if they can knock off some helmets. Again, burn through the meds, try to make sure you do as much attrition damage as you can, but here we go. Monkey King sneaking right up next to Crystal Luster, takes the shots, gets it down onto one of them, looking back over towards Long, and that is Crystal Luster just getting eliminated. That drops us down to 4 teams, 15 alive.
What a 2v1 there from Monkey King. Excellent job knocking out the last 2 members of CL. So we're down to 4 teams. Team Liquid with 4 members up, 17 with 4 members up, C9 with 4 members up, and a Freak of Freaks Fatal with 3. This is going to be a really exciting finish here, Matcham.
Cloud9 has actually chosen to send 2 members back down into the hay bales. Everybody's just trying to divide to get a little bit of control of what could be inside the center as, yeah, we're going to make our way back over towards the hills. Just a little bit of that field still in play. But now Cloud9, they're right on the edge, not inside the new safe zone. So while they made this risky play, not going to pay off for them. They're going to lose their vehicles and now have to cross this no man's land on foot. And you can see there's just no cover.
Yeah, the good news for Cloud9 is they probably have a lot of their utility left because they've been in that compound for so long. They haven't probably had to use a lot of their smokes. So I imagine they can at least have that going for them to get across this difficult terrain. But you're absolutely right. It's going to be very tough, especially with teams like Team Liquid, 17 and a Freak of Freaks Fatal still in this here at the end.
17 in a very good spot right now. They've got a little bit of a dip that they can play in, do a little bit of peeks back and forth. Ibiza kind of pressuring, playing a little bit of damage onto the team, making them make sure they're not too comfortable over there. Really, it's going to choose about like how Afrika decides to make the move through here. Fatal has a couple of different options in how they can push through. It looks like they might be playing around where Shadow's located at. He's got a foothold right next to the safe zone, but not a lot of real play areas in that. They're going to have to make their way towards the hills, I would imagine, which puts them right next to 17.
Profi does get knocked here by Style in transition, so C9, and he will get confirmed there. C9 trying to make their move right now to get into this circle. It is a very dangerous thing no matter what. No matter how many smokes you have, that is really dangerous. Shocks, though, heard the shots from a Freak of Freaks Fatal. Moving over here to try to find some shots, but he's taking some damage himself. Was that Ibiza from long range? My goodness.
He has just got a hilltop that he was playing around, but here's the problem with it. When you keep going for those peaks over that hill, sooner or later you do have somebody that looks back that direction. Ibiza does go down. That kind of provides a reprieve for everybody to now start making their way through this no man's land territory. Shadow goes down, and a massive explosion as K-Mine is just trying to make his way forward. K-Mine and Lobes, they're just trying to push out just to get to some form of safety. You can see Style got Lambu off on 2 different angles, but how much damage has Cloud9 received at this point? Another nice grenade coming back out from him. Could land maybe a little bit short there. Not going to get a connection onto it. Style also trying to do a return grenade onto it. K-Mine still looking back over on that other angle, but does get dropped from it. There is just nowhere to go as Cloud9 gets decimated.
Yeah, Cloud9 gets surrounded here. Team Liquid looking to secure this western flank on this side of the hill, trying to knock out a Freak of Freaks Fatal. They don't want to get flanked over here on the left side. A Freak of Freaks Fatal now in a really difficult position. There isn't a lot of room for them to maneuver at this point. They're blocked in on the south by Team Liquid, and the circle moves over to the east, making it even more difficult for them.
Team Liquid sitting on 8 kills right now, looking back over towards a Freak of Freaks Fatal. It's got 2 more points potentially sitting there that they really want to pick up. 17 also still a lot of control over the area that they have, but they've been having to surrender a lot of information just with how Team Liquid is playing this and how aggressive they're holding so many different angles. 17 hasn't had a chance to really peek up and get as much information as they want.
I love what Team Liquid's doing here. They are covering so much territory, making sure that they control the situation. They dictate the pace of this. And here's Jempty getting a lot of nice shots on the Style. Can't quite get the knock, though. Style able to make it sneakily behind that hay bale. Samty trying to take a few shots over here onto 17. Nothing really connecting for him. Ooh, but he tries to peek and pays for it there.
I kind of love how Team Liquid are herding a Freak of Freaks over towards 17. Be like, yeah, you guys fight each other and do some damage to it. Even if we don't get the down on a Freak of Freaks, we'll just force you guys to fight. Look at the amount of territory that Team Liquid controls versus 17. 17's just kind of crammed into this corner right now. Sure, they peek up, they get some damage onto Team Liquid, but there's really nowhere for them to go. They haven't been able to extend out, and right along the edge like that, they have to know they're not going to get control of the circle, and that's why Ibiza is walking right up into the middle of this, forcing everybody to have to move around how he wants them to move.
Yeah, right now it looks like a Freak of Freaks Fatal has found a nice little hill to hide behind that is in the circle. So we might not see any of these 3 teams really duke it out quite yet until they're forced to by Phase 9 here. It looks like they've all kind of found their little positions. They're just going to try to peek and take some shots at each other. 17, I think, very content to just wait and try to just outskill Team Liquid at the end.
The X factor for me is got to be a Freak of Freaks, where they're positioned at. I mean, they don't have the chance really of winning as much as the other 2 teams, but the direction that they choose to look and who they decide to take shots at in this last point, as you can see Team Liquid right up near the center, so everybody's going to be kind of vying for towards that center spot. If they choose to look back over towards 17 and do the damage to him, get it down onto it, that could really open it up for Team Liquid. But if they choose to focus Team Liquid, that's going to open it up for 17.
Yeah, really aggressive play here by Liquid to really make sure they control the center of that circle. This is the last circle. The blue will collapse into the very center. There's a little spinning star you can see on the bottom right-hand corner corner of your map. That is where the circle will collapse into. These teams don't have a lot of time to work with this. It's only a couple minutes here. So Team Liquid has this hill here. They have a lot of cover, but there's tons of smokes coming out. 17 making a move.
Here we go. Look at all the smoke that's down in play, and that beautiful grenade coming out from Abisa, getting it down onto 2 members, and Abisa is just absolutely on fire at this hilltop. He is just destroying 17. Meanwhile, looks back over towards the Freak of Freaks. They're just trying to push back up, and that's another down popping up for Team Liquid. There is nowhere for these other 2 teams to go that Liquid does not see. It is unrelenting, but finally James goes down. It is just Monkey King to fight off Team Liquid. He's just trying to go for the flush. He's out inside the blue right now. Slowly creeping over, picks up Santi as well. That pushes him up to 6 kills. But we got Abisa and Jimpty on the hunt, and that's going to be Team Liquid taking the very first round.
Incredible circle.